This is a red maple, and I am growing this for bonsai. The bonsai itself is going to be from this trunk way down here, which has some nice movement in it. Probably the new leader will be that small branch there coming out sort of towards us. And then all the rest of this uh, is sacrifice growth in order to strengthen and thicken the trunk. So all that'll get either chopped off or air layered off. And it keeps going down a bit underground, obviously. There's a nice spread down there. You can see I've got all sorts of sacrifice branches. These will not be in the final design. Really, I'm just building this trunk, which terminates in, which will eventually, probably, terminate in this thing. This is the top of the future bonsai, or at any rate, the highest part of the future bonsai that is currently existing. And these lower branches are just to thicken the trunk lower down. I'm starting the process of dismantling this maple, red maple. I've been growing the top real big so that the trunk will fatten up, and later it will be dug up for bonsai. So all this top growth is going to come off, but I'm going to be taking off these branches that I've been growing just to sacrifice to thicken up the trunk. This one will come off, everything will come off. Just the trunk is what I'm after. But rather than just throw this stuff away, I'm going to try to make a new tree out of it. So I've ringed the bark on this branch. Come on, focus. And now I will put some rooting hormone on there and close it up into a little pod. Come on, focus. And when all that's done, I'll take another video. Okay, there it is in its little pod. That was a bit of an ordeal. Let me just water it in, and I'll show you the final result. And there it is, all wrapped up like a baked potato. The foil is to keep it a little bit cool. If the sun's shining directly on this, it can get pretty hot. Also, those roots probably want to be dark. So yeah, let's look at it from the other side. There it is. So water can get in, I can water it. It's pretty wet, but this is a red maple and they like to be wet, so I'm not concerned that it's too wet. So we shall see by end of summer if I can cut this off. Just a quick update on the air layer for the red maple. This is the branch that I'm air layering, and what I notice is that so it's August, the tree is green. But on this branch that I've that I'm air layering, the leaves have some autumn color. Foil bundle where I'm air layering. And let me just take off this foil. And here you can see there's some new roots. This one is even kind of trying to grow out. But hopefully that'll air prune and so the root will subdivide up there. But there's definitely roots growing. So this is the fun of these clear things, is you can see fairly easily the progress of the root ball that's being formed there. So there you go. Here's an update on the air layer on this red maple. It's filling up with roots. It's September 1st today. I may remove the air layer and pot it up, because I'm finding it's hard to get water down in there. It looks like there's enough water. It's probably fine. I'm not sure. I'm still debating. But filling up with roots, especially on this side. Take a look at the other side. Hi, Bucky. What do you think? All right. Not as many roots on this side, and what roots there are seem to be coming from the other side. So this may be a somewhat one-sided root plane. We'll see. I decided to take off this root ball here, or this air layer from this maple. I already cut the branch short. It's going to be way shorter in the end, but I wanted to leave plenty of room for dieback and plenty of leaves on it. So I got my saw. Let's get to cutting. And the air layer is off. There's the tree. There's the roots. Looks like it should be plenty. Let's see what happens when I take this ball off. Feels pretty dry, so I'm glad I'm taking it off because I just think it was getting too hard to water it. Let me see if I can. Gonna put it in a pretty big pot because I'm not worried about the roots of this red maple being too wet, having too much water. I'm not worried about that. Maybe this pot is too big. I'm just gonna do it. Bury it pretty deep so it'll be stable. There it is in there. I'm not gonna mess with it. This is this mix that I'm using is about half potting soil and half that stuff. It's not pumice, it's perlite. So I'll fill it up. All right, there it is, all potted up. There's an itchy dog. How you doing, Buck? What do you think? Looking good? This is the mix I'm using. See, there's a lot of very chunky perlite in there. And there it is, all watered in. There's the remainder of the branch I cut off. Just gonna leave it in this water for a while to let the soil get thoroughly wet. I'll show you the place where I cut it off the tree. There's the place I cut it off. I kind of nicked some other branches, but they'll heal. So there you go. Next year, these other branches, I'll air layer them off along with the remainder of the trunk. And this little chunky boy down there will take its next step on the way to being a bonsai.